A police surveillance camera in Guatemala City captures a scene that has become common. A car stops at an intersection at midnight. A man is forced out and shot. It was one of the nearly 6,000 murders in Guatemala in 2011, 8 times the U.S. homicide rate. Fueling the violence, narco trafficking, as Mexico's cartels, including the ultra-violent Zetas, move south. What we're talking about really is, in many of these areas, is ungoverned space, right? Like the Zetas are the authorities in these areas.
Yes.
We were briefed by a DEA agent who asked us not to reveal his face.
The M240 machine gun fires a 7.62 round, and we need it up in Indian country where we're going.
Dodging storms, we flew with the DEA in 2 Huey helicopter gunships into a no-man's land in Guatemala. Land that soon becomes uninhabited stretches of jungle, much of it flooded because of the rainy season. Soon we were flying over clandestine landing strips, hundreds of them, used for smuggling drugs coming up from Venezuela. Sometimes the planes crashed, but since one load of cocaine more than paid for a plane, often they were just abandoned.
There's an airplane carcass right there below me. You can see it right there. There's got some birds on it, crash landed. It's a little flooded right now from the rains, but when it's dry, there's about 30 to 40 aircraft just laying out here. All that were abandoned after they brought the drugs in.
After the U.S. helped beef up the Guatemalan defenses, the traffickers began looking for another place to land drugs. They chose Guatemala's violent neighbor, Honduras, and it has become the new front line of the narco wars.
It's the first entry point.
Jim Kenney has been fighting that war for more than 12 years.
It's the first point, either by boat or an air track, an illicit airplane coming in. The best opportunity to stop the drugs is at that point.
As head of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Office in Honduras, Jim Kenney runs America's first line of defense, with the support of only 2 other DEA agents. If Jim's small team can't intercept the drugs when they land, the likelihood is that they'll make it all the way to the U.S.-Mexico border. It's highly unusual for a DEA agent in overseas operations to be seen on camera, but I was allowed to follow Jim around Honduras.
I mean, we're out there now, right? This is the Wild West.
Close as you get to it, yes. They're saying 75 to 80% of the 25 plus tons that come through here a month is maritime.
The boat we were riding on was one of the interceptor boats the Honduran Navy uses to try to stop smuggling boats whenever the DEA gets intelligence about a load coming in from South America.
Yes, these are all from drug boats.
When we got to the naval base and saw some of the go-fast boats confiscated from smugglers, it was easy to see how outmatched the Honduran Navy is. In this surveillance footage, you can actually see a smuggling boat firing on a Honduran Navy boat that's trying to intercept it.
As a matter of fact, last night we had pretty good information about a go-fast that was coming up that was off the Roatan Island. Unfortunately, we were not able to find them. Right. Very difficult, very difficult. You know, you're going out in a very vast, wide area.
Yeah, it's a needle in a haystack, right?
Right.
Jim says that in the last 2.5 years in Honduras, he feels like he's aged 10 years.
It's frustrating at times because we a lot of times have the knowledge and the intelligence to be able to respond and do things. But because of the lack of resources, it's difficult.
Put some gray in the old beard, is that?
But Jim has been making progress, changing a crucial piece of the puzzle here. But this is your piece right here, these guys coming out.
These guys are the vetted team that we trust, that we can pass very sensitive intelligence to.
This is Jim's vetted unit, specially selected Honduran police officers chosen for their skills and their honesty.
Corruption's an issue here, as it is in Central America and other countries, South America. They're all been polygraphed, they're all drug tested, they're all interviewed, and they all get training. And we would train each one from evidence handling up to the tactics.
When Jim gets a tip about an illicit aircraft headed towards Honduras with a load of cocaine, it's the vetted team's mission to fly to that landing site and intercept it. There's a high likelihood that they could get in a firefight on one of these missions, right?
Yes, yes, and they have been in firefights. Very dangerous. These guys are very brave. They know that there's a very high possibility that there's going to be some type of confrontation. Fuego! Vaya, 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 más rápido, más rápido, más rápido.
When Jim arrived in Honduras early in 2009, the vetted unit had 7 officers. Now, it has 41. And of the 94 smuggling planes that landed in Honduras in 2010, the government of Honduras was able to intercept 7, 5 of which were intercepted by Jim's unit. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, except that the total for the previous year was 0.
Is it exhausting?
It can be, yeah. You know, there's lots of long days. You hope it's fruitful at the end of it.